Today, I like to talk with you about the value of art. And I don't mean the value of art in an emotional sense. I don't mean the value of art in a financial way. But what I do mean is the value of art in our daily life. The place of art in society and its importance of that. Now, I'm going to give you a quote. Think about that, because this is the keynote of my whole speech. What I think is that art gives the best, most creative answer to its time spirit. It answers to the questions of its time, which is, in fact, natural, because an artist is the same person as you and me. It's a father or a mother, it's your neighbor, it reacts to threats and impulses, the same as we do, reading the same newspapers, looking at the same television programs. The only difference is that he or she translates these emotions, these feelings, into a creative way. Is art the only one? No. Art is, of course, not the only one. There are so many things, especially in creative industry, that answers to its time questions. But there is a difference. For instance, let me put it this way. After 9/11, our focus went to the Middle East. A little bit of a strange happening that it happened that way, but it did. It really did. Before that, the Middle East was not really in our thoughts in the Western world. But after that, then, in our houses came in the aluminium plates with calligraphy, the glasses where we drink tea out. We were eating all of a sudden from tagines. We are eating still mezzes, etc. Lovely. My children are smoking sometimes a water pipe. Did they do this 15 years ago? I don't think so. And of course, there came in the art from the Middle East. Because these images, we knew already that there was planted a seed in our brains, so we could recognize it. So it was in fashion, and it came in. Now the difference is, the glasses will fall down. The fashion we're wearing, which is of course the same thing, the outing of the time spirit, those jeans, whatever you're wearing, will be out of season. Next season you will throw it away. But the art remains. So the art is more sustainable. You make your choices then and there in a different way. And that is also got to do something with the art itself. Artist gives an answer to its time spirit, but more profound. It is more hidden. The message is more hidden in a work of art than in something that is less sustainable. If you can take the message out of the artwork, if you can feel the energy that gives the message in the artwork, it will give you a reward. A greater reward, because then you have all of a sudden a connection. And then is what I mean is not that you only look to one image, but you see the art as a whole. Like all those different kind of jeans you see, then you know what is in fashion. Now look at the art not only in one particular way, not one image because you like it, but go and see and look if you can find a certain energy in everything there is in art. Then you find a different way. Now, if it's indeed an answer to its time spirit, that means that artists who are known in history are also being a part of this history. So then, if you're looking to an older painting, for instance, you should be aware of the time spirit at the moment, because otherwise you don't really see the work. Then it doesn't give you the energy it should give you. Let's do an example. Now, Mondrian, we all know Mondrian. Let's place it in its time. We are after World War I. And it was chaos, of course. And everybody was looking for new ways in life, to have a new society, more bright, less emotional, being away from tradition, going to a modern world with a whole new way of living. We call it the start of modernism. And it was a universal form, language that people and the artists were looking for. And Mondrian was one of the major artists who gave at that time the most creative, the most daring answer to the question of its time. And that is the reason why he is famous all over the world. But then, if he had made that, could be, maybe other people did already, 10 years before that, we would never have heard of him. Because it wasn't then and there the right moment. Then he wouldn't have given the right answer to its time spirit. Now, if that's the case, then another value comes in. And that's the one we called quality. Quality can be measured in two values. One is what you like best. And that is always good. Let nobody take that away from you. Your individual taste is something that is very clear, very real. But it's an emotional value, and I cannot measure that. So what I can do is the absolute value of quality. And that is, in my opinion, those works and those artists who were capable of getting the time spirit at the right moment, at the right place, on the right time, in the best way, in the most daring way. Did Mondrian do this all the time? Well, I don't think so. I mean, a lovely picture, of course, the painting with the cows, but it didn't answer to its time spirit. So there we have quality and we have less quality. And that, of course, counts for every artist. Now we go to another time. We go to another example. After World War II, there was again chaos. Chaos everywhere, emotional chaos, political chaos, social chaos, financial chaos. But, of course, in due time, it went over. And if we are by the end of the 50s, a totally new society came in. New inventions were made. Inventions that would make our lives easier. Vacuum cleaner, tape recorder. Life became totally different with the invention of television, the invention of radio, the invention of the tape recorder. I already said so, but we went to the moon. Life became even bigger. Earth became bigger. So that's the time when immediately a new answer to the time spirit should be in. And there was this young, bright artist, Andy Warhol, who said, I'm going to fill in the gap between art and society. And I will call it popular art. In short, pop art. And what he did is he took out icons and very well-known items out of society and put it in a museum, put it in art, so that you were confronted with the way that life was made at that moment, because it was the start of the consumption society. The consumption society as we know it now. He even made his works, he duplicated his works in the factory. Well, art in a factory, was that possible? Yes, it was possible, because it was a consumer's society, and that exactly was the answer to it. So again, we're talking about somebody who made the very best, bright answer to its time spirit. Next question is, of course, where are we now? Where are we now? Well, of course, we know about the refugees. We know about being attacked on our own beyond our own frontiers. We have all these threats coming on, but we also have nature calling. to us, health calling to us. And in what time, in what period in history was it exactly the same? Well, if we think about that, I'm immediately thinking about the 60s. And that is what's actually going on right now. At the 60s, we had flower power. At the 60s, we had all these riots against war and the use of chemical weapons in the Vietnam War, for instance. Now, then we had hippies. Now we call them hipsters. There is a coincidence, isn't there? Then we wore jeans with those white endings of the trousers. Well, very much in fashion, don't you think so? So everything is going to this period. We even have the songs, the literature, everything, the movies is right in fashion right now. So what we did, how does the art react? That is that 2 years ago, for an example, there was the Venice Biennial, a very important art event in the world. And we sent out, for our country, the Netherlands, an 86-year-old artist, namely Herman de Vries. And he was one of the founders in the 60s of the Zero movement, the European minimal art. He is about nature, all about nature. So, did he fit in the time spirit of now? Yes, he did. And it is so clearly to see that that was the right answer. And not even we sent out an 86-year-old artist to this event. France did, America did, Australia did. So that is the proof. But we are already in this period for some years. So we are heading for something totally new. And with the coming youth looking over our shoulders, then we can see a totally new thing coming up. I think that in this new era, that art, the creative thinking, will be high-end. And since art is the best, most daring way, art will be used in different combinations. So there is art and fashion, art and design, maybe even art and food. We already know that. But for now, I think that new combinations will be in, like art and technique, art and biological things, art and science. But the technical aspect, in combination with art, will be the next thing. And it's already happening, as we saw in the exposition of last year in the Stedelijk Museum, with the robots of Jordan Wolfson. Amazing. Well, having said that, please note that I'm not a trend watcher at all. I'm an art lover. That's something else. And through art, I'm far more aware of the facts of my time, the facts where I really live in, the thoughts of where we're going to, all through that. And I really hope that you feel the same as I do, because that for me is the value of art. Thank you.